Okay, hello everybody, this is the part 2 of the rebuild and the head gasket for my Ferguson TED20. This video will be taking the radiator and some of the cooling system apart, like the hoses and things. So if I just adjust the camera down a little bit, we'll get started. Right, so first you want to take this hose off when you drain the radiator. I've done all this first. So this is all drained. The coolant is surprisingly good in it, it isn't too rusty compared to what some tractors have had off of them. Right, so there's the Jubilee clip. It's come off. Pull this hose off screen. I'll just start to disassemble the top here. Taking the Jubilee clips off, as you would imagine. Right, this is not too exciting. I'll put it on a time lapse. I should be able to put that in the video. Right, now I've just got these the hoses off, the bypass hose, the one that goes from here to here, that bypasses the thermostat, and the bottom radiator hose that goes from here to down here. It's quite mucky up in there, but a lot of it's all rusted to the side and quite line scaly up in here, so I don't know, I suppose it's quite an old tractor and the water around here is quite lime scaly, but well, there goes the dog. So I'll try and take this top bit here off next. Take these little pins out. I've got some new ones of these, so it doesn't really matter. I'll break them off, I'll have to cut them off. I've undone both of these clips, so when I pull the radiator off, you should just pull this off and then work way down. That should be good. Right, I'll set it back up and I should be able to get another time lapse of me trying to get the top off. Right, now I've just taken this piece off. There was a time lapse of it, but it was a slight bit boring, just me trying to pull at some little clips. So see, it's worn quite badly on there, but it should be alright to go back on. I didn't really need to take one of these off, but it was quite mangled, so if I needed to, it would be a good idea to just replace it now. Save me the trouble. So yeah, that's this off. Now for the radiator. Alright, now here we are. I've just loosened the bolts under here, as you've seen, and it should just now just pop off without spilling coolant everywhere. There. Which is remarkably clean. Is that all? Yes, I think so. Right, so we'll go and put this down at the back of the tractor here. Right, so now, you can see I haven't got the spark plugs in properly, so you can turn the engine over by hand. But then I should be able to get this other hose off soon. Because like I said, I've got a new one because this one's all split and you can feel it on the inside, you can nearly push your finger through. So yeah, and then it will start coming down to the thermostat housing. Alright, I'll get on with that. It'll be a few seconds for you, but it'll be a few minutes, or nearly an hour I expect for me. Alright, I've just got this off. There's a little 1/2-inch studs, or 1/2-inch spanner fits, and it's rather mucky all up in here. Try and scrape some of that out with a screwdriver. If I had a sandblaster, I'd clean it up, but I don't. So. And the gasket's on there, the rubber one, or the little fibre one. I've got some more of them. I just ripped it then. It's a little bit cracking on the inside. Yeah, it's all rusty in there, isn't it? Yeah. Right, well, that's one piece of the puzzle soon. And by the looks of it, the thermostat looks okay, but probably while I've got this apart, I might as well get another one because they're not too expensive. So, right, get back to it. Right, here's the thermostat out. It's a bit grubby around the edges, but I don't know. I'll test it. I'll get some boiling water and see if it opens. I'm not sure which one this is, if it's an 8 I think some are 80 degrees and some are 85 or something like that. But I'll have to have a look. I don't know, I probably might as well get another one, but I'll test this one first, so it's an unnecessary expense if I have to get another one. So, yeah, I'll just take this off of my little stand. You can see down in there, it's a bit mucky. And there's the temperature gauge. The thing is, this is a TED, it's got a temperature gauge. Presuming this just unscrews and comes out. Have a look in the workshop manual. But yeah, and then I got to take this off and I got to take the throttle rod off. So next thing to do will probably be the temperature gauge and take the heat shield off. So then I got to take the throttle rod off, or at least this assembly here to slide this out. I think the throttle rod stays on if I remember his video correctly. But yeah, never done that before. The annoying thing is with this tractor is it ran so brilliantly, and it would idle fine, but there was water in the oil, so I couldn't let it last too longer. Even in this lockdown, I thought I might as well get it done. But yeah, put this back up on the stand and we should probably start doing the heat shield. And so now I just undo both these little bolts under here, and then the heat shield should just pop off. See, like I said, this tractor saw bench sawdust in the heat shield. You see, I don't ever know why it goes white, but no, not like a pinky colour, but I don't know. That's the good. This dust this off. Comes off in 2 pieces, and the back piece, which is sandwiched between the manifold and there. So yeah, that's the heat shield off. Here I've just taken the fan off so I can get the water pump off on the side of the head. So that's one other job done. I don't know what these little shims in here are for, but they're going to go back on. So, and it seems well lubricated inside the water pump because these came out nearly hand tight. So yeah, it's another thing off. Okay, now I'm just loosening off the adjustment bolt under the dynamo, or generators, I think the Americans call it. But, and that's just release some pressure on the fan pump. So it should come off easier. Need to order, I suspect I'm going to have to order a new fan belt because it's cracked on. There's one place here where it's cracked. It's been replaced, and like I said, like most things on this tractor, was about 10 years ago. Because I think when Uncle put the new thermostat housing on, he put them on as well. Right, so that's the dynamo slackened off. It should be to slacken a bit more, but I loosen these other bolts a little bit. Like that one's pretty loose because it's just spinning the other end, but we get it as loose as we can, the fan belt, and then that should just come off. I won't take it off yet, but when it's ready to come off, there we are. Much easier. Okay, so dynamo slackened off. Okay, now I'm just going to take the thermostat housing off. Now I've just removed the throttle linkage, like the little bit of linkage that, see there's a pipe that runs, or not a pipe, it's a rod that runs through the thermostat housing. I'm just trying to set a little stand up while rambling. There we go. See the silver bit, that was new, not too long ago. So I'll just take that off in a short time lapse. There we go, that is the thermostat loosened. If it will come off the rod, it's another story. Here we go. The thermostat housing, that came off alright. See, the gasket's quite perished up in there. I've got another one. Again, this is all covered in sawdust. So, yeah. I think this was quite a difficult part to find at the time, if I remember right. So, Yeah, it's a bit sludgy in there, but it's alright. Well, this is the thermostat housing off. I should be able to clean all this up as well. It's not too bad in it, but could be better. Yeah. Right, just got this pipe off. See, it's the TED one because it would go in the manifold like that, and it wraps round inside the manifold. It's just so it warms itself up, the gases, before it goes back in. Whereas the petrol one goes from here straight up over, because obviously it hasn't got to warm it up quite so much. But yeah, a lot of these were discarded because they look to be flattened, but this one seems alright. All up in here is alright. It's a bit carboned up, so I have to clean this out for focus. Okay, now I'm just going to take the carburetor off. Okay, there we go. Now I've just taken the carburetor off. I've left this linkage on it because when this is back on the tractor, this up in here is a pain to get back on. So I thought I might as well leave this one on. See all the butterfly in there moving. Yeah, I didn't want to take this fuel pipe off because it didn't leak at all. It was fine, but in the end I had to because I couldn't get the carburetor off because the fuel pipe has got it's like a little clamp that goes onto the side of the engine block, and I couldn't get that screw undone for the life of me, so I had to take that pipe off. As you can see, I've got the old gaskets on there. I think it's on the bottom of the manifold. That looks pretty clean, but I have to make sure to scrape all that off. Yeah, carburetor off. Like I said, I'm going to leave the manifold on the head, just because I think the bolts will be rusted solid, and it's just another thing to go wrong. Right, I'll get back to it.